Hello, it's Martin from Wisely Automotive, and this time around with a slightly different video to our usual ones because I'm not in our office. I'm at Alloy Fix, which is a company we use for refurbishing alloy wheels. We dropped off a very special i3 earlier in the week. It's one of the Fluid Grey Editions, and I believe all of the wheels were scuffed. So the guys have actually started working on them, and they will take us through what it takes to refurbish these diamond cut wheels. So stick around because this will be a very educational piece for me as well, because this is the process which I've actually not seen in person myself. We are about to get started, so I'm joined by the Alloy Fix guys. Let's introduce yourself.
I'm Umar, I'm one of the directors at Alloy Fix. We obviously specialise in wheel refurbishments, buckles and cracks. We've been doing this business now for about 5 or 6 years. We started initially off at Rumford, and we've just recently, well, it's been about a year, we've just opened this branch over in Dartford. Right, so today we're going to be working on this i3. We normally offer two main options when we are doing the refurbishments. You can either leave the car with us, or we do have donor wheels to put on the car so you guys can carry on driving around while we fix the wheels, and then after 3-4 days when the process is done, we can swap them back over for you. We've taken the 3 wheels off already. We're just going to take this one off and roll that inside, and we're going to show you how the start of the process works. The journey of the wheel starts here at the tyre bay. First thing first, we've got to remove the tyre, we've got to remove the TPMS valve, centre caps, and any of the tyre weights that were used previously to balance the wheel. The tyres and the TPMSs get stored away, and then we start on the wheel itself. At this point, we've got the wheel ready now. We've taken off the TPMS, we've taken out the centre cap, and we've taken off all the wheel weights. So now we're just left with the bare wheel itself. The next stop for this wheel is to go into a chemical strip where we will take off all the old coating, and then followed shortly after that, we put it in the sandblasting machine where it gets automatically sandblast. So that happens on this side of the factory over here. This is what the wheel looks like when it comes out the chemical strip. Now it's going to go, it's going to go into a sandblaster. It's going to get rid of all these little bits here, all the leftover paint and stuff like that, and also it's going to etch the surface. So as you can see, the surface is really smooth now. Obviously you can't see that by the camera, but surface is really smooth now. What the sandblaster is going to do is going to put an etch onto it, and basically that means the powder is going to be able to stick to it a lot better. Wheel goes into the sandblaster. These arms are going to spin, and they're going to make the wheel spin. Underneath there's some really big blades. They're going to shoot up. It's not actually sand, I mean, even though we call it a sandblaster. So I'll show you here in my hand. So they're like little metal ball bearings that will come and fire at the wheel and give it the etch that we need.
The machine does its job for a few minutes, and here is the result.
You can see it's perfectly clean now. There's no residue of the chemical or any paint left on, but now you can see the surface is a lot more rough than it was before, and now that will allow the powder to get into those little peaks and troughs, and it will hold on really well. This wheel is buckled, so now we will show you quickly how we straighten the wheel when it's got slight distortion in it. To fix a buckle, we have to hook it up to this machine. Can you see the slight wobble around here? So that's what we classify as a buckle. It's a distortion. When you have a buckle, this could lead to cracks, like in the future if left unattended. They will give obviously uneven wear to your tires, and they'll put pressure on systems, for example your steering and your suspension, which can over time, not immediately, but over time it will start feeling the effect. So when we have buckled wheels, we like to fix them. Obviously at this point we would have called the customer and authorized this, but if you come around here, this one's quite easy to see.
It's literally kind of flat.
Yeah, so it's got a flat spot here.
To actually repair the wheel, the technician uses the pointers to mark the high and low spots, and then proceeds to heat the wheel up to make the metal softer to prevent fractures as the material is being pushed and pulled using the hydraulic rams. Despite it looking quite intuitive, this requires a lot of skill. The technicians have to undergo 6 months of training, and even then need to be very careful when working on the alloy, as adjusting the distortion spot may have an effect elsewhere on the wheel, particularly true for these narrow i3 wheels, I'm told. With the trend of ever-increasing wheel sizes fitted with low-profile tires and the state of our roads full of potholes, we unfortunately see buckled wheels more and more frequently. I suppose it's the price you pay for the style, but at least you can rest assured that in the majority of cases the damage is repairable by professionals.
And as you can see, the massive difference from before to now, But what we are going to do is you still got some little bends and stuff from when we were fixing it. So we're just going to get this absolutely right. So when we're fitting the tyre back on, it goes on and there's no leaks or there's no gaps. Over there, we just made a new seat for the wheel. Obviously you're taking off, that's probably less than the thickness over here. It's just so when we're fitting the tyre back on, it goes on nice and smooth and it seats well. Right, it's now time to powder coat the wheel. First, before we powder coat the wheel, we have to degas the wheel. We degas the wheel because obviously metal is porous. It's within its structure, it's holding moisture and gases, which we're just trying to get rid of. So by heating this wheel up to 200 degrees, it'll open up the air, the moisture, anything else that's trapped in the structure of the metal will come out. And then when we powder coat it, we won't get any bubbles or any imperfections within the surface of the powder coating. So I'm going to put this wheel in to get degas now. 20 minutes to degas. Right, it's been 20 minutes now. The wheel's fully degassed and we are ready to powder coat it. We attach the metal clip, you might have seen we attached the metal clip to the bottom. That's to charge the wheel electrically. So the powder is also electrically charged. So when the powder comes out the gun, it gets sucked onto the wheel. Access goes through the fans and the booth and the filtration system. The base coat is on this, which was black. Obviously this wheel is getting diamond cut and it's staying black. So it wouldn't have anything else done to it after the 20 minutes. It's going to come cooler and then we'll diamond cut it. But if this wasn't a diamond cut wheel, it'll come out after the 20 minutes. It'll get a color coat applied. It'll go back in the ovens. 15 minutes go back in, then it comes back out, and then we'll just apply the lacquer on top. But obviously this wheel is getting diamond cut, so we'll see what's happening to it outside. Right, so the wheel's finally out the ovens. It's all cooled down, so I can hold it now. As you can see, it's fully black. And now we will be diamond cutting it. Diamond cutting is basically, it happens in this machine. It's called a lathe. If you come inside, I'll show you the machine and how it works. So we place the wheel inside the machine, we lock it onto the chuck. The chuck will spin. First and foremost, and this is a probe. So the probe will make a profile of the wheel shape. And then the diamond cut tip, this tip will then cut out the profile that we need it to cut out. Because obviously it's spinning quite fast and there's quite a few forces going through it, so it's got to be secured. If that wheel was to ever come off the chuck, it'll be very bad for everybody. So we call this a simulation cut. So what's going to happen now is by hand we're going to spin the wheel and we're just going to make sure that the profile that we've made actually suits the wheel. Before anything's moving really fast or anything like that. So this is just a way for us to check everything is good before we cut the wheel. So we're happy with the simulation. It follows the curves of the wheel, and now we'll actually do the main cutting. So that was the first pass. The wheel does have to go through a few passes, but as you can see, it's making contact there, it's made some contact here. So every time we run a pass, we're taking off 1/10 of a millimeter. So obviously we have to do a few passes until we're completely happy with it. It's important, so when we were straightening the buckle of the wheel, it's important, so now you can see why for us as well the wheel has to be straight, because obviously if that was wobbling while it was spinning or anything like that, that could mess the blade up, that could mess the lathe up, that could even cause severe damage to the wheel. So that's why it's important to do the buckle stages and make sure the wheel's 100% straight before we put them in the machine. But yeah, we'll run a couple of passes now and you'll see the diamond cut come to life. So as you can see, after the second pass, we see a lot more diamond cut, but there is still bits that have been missed out. So obviously, as you can see by the process, we're removing metal, and that shows that wheels can only be done and cut a certain amount of time. So on average, a normal average wheel can only be cut like this twice or maybe 3 times. We're trying to take off as minimum amount of metal as possible. That's why we're doing so many passes, to take off the smallest amount of metal as possible so we can prolong the life of the wheel. But eventually, the diamond cut, the bit that's actually getting diamond cut, that will get to the same sort of level as this. So these two will be on the same sort of level and that wheel can't be cut any further. We have got solutions for that afterwards, but if you want a diamond cut look, you won't be able to get that if you cut it too many times.
And this is why we only refurbish wheels if absolutely needed during our vehicle preparation here at Wisely. At least in our eyes, it's not worth it to remove quote-unquote lives from the wheel for a minor mark on the edge, for example, if we may need to get it refurbished after a couple of years of use in the real world anyways. With a couple more passes with slightly different settings and the finishing touches done, the technicians are ready to move the wheel onto the next stage.
Right, so now we're in the final stages of completing this refurbishment. We've got the diamond cut done. We're happy with it. We've inspected it. We're happy with it. So we've already wiped down the wheel. This will go back in the ovens now. We'll heat this up to temperature, and then we'll spray the lacquer, acrylic lacquer on top. And that's it, 15 minutes. The wheel's warmed up now, and we're finally ready for the lacquer.
The wheel is out of the oven for the last time, it just needs to cool down now. This is the finished product. Obviously the next stage is to put the tire on and rebalance it again, but that's it. It's ready to then go back on the i3. If you like what you saw and you want to get in touch with these guys, I will leave the contact information and their website in the description below. And they are very confident in the products they use and the skill they have, so they actually offer 3-year warranty on all customer-facing jobs, so you can rest assured that they do a proper job. Yeah, and I think that's about it. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you found the video informative. If that's the case, make sure to hit the like button. If you want to see more EV content, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out our latest video. Thank you very much again. See you in the next one.